Hi, I'm Shahir Ahmed and this is deliverable for backend demo for LifePath Admin Dashboard. LifePath is a vocational employment platform that helps homeless individuals gain jobs through training programs like carpentry, gardening, retail assistant, and also helps them provide food and shelter. This is a backend only demonstration for one of the pages I did, which is admin dashboard. I'll show the ER diagrams, Spring Boot structure, H2 databases, and live API tests using Thunder Client. Here is my ER diagram. The system has 7 active tables. Admin accounts is responsible to store dashboard login credentials, ID, full name, email password, and role. It's standalone for authentication. Trainees is a central entity. Homeless individuals enrolled in a vocational program. It stores personal details, their course, status, and a time. Pipeline stages tracks each trainee's current placement position. It has a foreign key to trainees and uses stages like course finish, CV preparation, internships, further training, and job offer. That's a one-to-one relationship. Pipeline history is the audit trail. Every pipeline movement creates a record with the previous stage, new stage, and a timestamp. That's one to many. One trainee, many historic entries. Staff stores admin, mentors, and lecturers managing the platform. Stories hold community success stories with moderation statuses, pending, approved, or rejected. Activities is a centralized log. Every system action creates a record here. It uses a polymorphic design, entity, ID, and entity type. Staff or stories depending on the action. Now let me walk you through the code. My project follows a standard Spring Boot layered architecture. Model has the JPA entities, admin accounts, trainee, pipeline stage, pipeline history, staff, story, and activity. Repository has Spring Data JPA repositories for each entity with the customer queries like find by trainee ID and fetching recent activities. Service handles business logic. Trainee service manages enrollments. Pipeline service handles stage movements and automatically creates history and activity records. And also creates activity service provides a centralized logging method. Controller exposes the REST endpoints under API admin for authentication, trainees, pipeline, staff, stories, dashboards, and profile. However, the DTO shapes the API requests and response data, and configuration has the data seeder that populates sample data on startup. Let me show you the database. Here is the H2O console. I'll do select from trainees. You can see trainees like Alice Johnson in carpentry, Mark Smith in retail, and Emily Davis in gardening, all vocational programs. Now let's select from pipeline stages. Several trainees are already in the pipeline. Trainee 1 is at course finished, trainee 2 is at CV preparation. Select from staff. 6 staff members with admin, mentor, and lecture roles. Select from stories. 3 stories with pending, approved, and rejected statuses. Select from admin accounts. It's the default admin login, which is going to be admin@lifepath.com. All seeded by the data seeder. Now I'll test the API live. Let's use Thunder Client. I'm sending a post to the localhost 8080 on admin A on the API admin enrollments. You can see the JSON file and it says 200 OK. David Thompson is created with status active and an auto-generated ID. I'll do select from trainees. Now you can see David appears at the bottom, enrolled in an electrician apprentice. Select from activities. New entry, which is type enrollment. David Thompson enrolled in electrician apprentice program. Activity logging works automatically. Now let's move on to the second demo. Now I'll put to the local host on the admin pipeline move. It's the Jason says 200 OK. Alice Johnson moved to CV preparation. Now let's select from pipeline stages where trainee ID is equals to 1. Stage is updated to CV preparation, updated at change. Select from pipeline history. As you can see, new record showing previous stage course finished and new stage CV preparation with timestamp. Select from activities. New pipeline activity, Alice Johnson moved to CV preparation. That's 3 databases writes off from 1 API call. I'll show the third demo to approve a story. So I'll put to the localhost 8080 and API admin stories 1 approve nobody needed. 200 OK from shelter to skilled carpenter is now approved. In H2, I'll select from stories where ID is equals to 1, and as you can see, status changed from pending to approved. Activities table, new community entry, community story approved from shelter to skilled carpenter, story moderation and logging confirmed. One of my strongest non-trivial feature is the automated pipeline workflow. One pipeline move requests trigger 4 coordinated writes. It updates pipeline stages, creates a pipeline history record, updates the trainee's own record, and creates an activity log. On top of that, when a trainee status changes to completed, the system automatically adds them to the pipeline at course finished, so the trainee directory and placement pipeline are connected through backend logic, not just UI. This is an event-driven data cascading workflow that goes well beyond basic CRUD. To summarize, I've shown the ER diagram with 7 tables, the Spring Boot layered architecture, H2 populated data, and 3 live API demos with verified database changes. The key feature is the pipeline workflow that cascades across multiple tables from a single API call. That's my deliverable for backend video demonstration. Thank you.